Welcome, Governor. Been a long time. I've wanted to have you on the show. It's good to see you.
Good morning. How you doing?
We're doing good. I wanted to, with that intro, I guess we'll talk about those things. What I really do want to get to, though, is whether you believe that some of the successes you've had in Florida, both economically and a lot of other successes there, whether that's possible to do that on a national level. That's what I think sometimes it's hard to imagine, but I want to hear you tell me that you can in a second. But and I'm sure you don't watch Drudge or don't look at Drudge, but the headline today is Ron downloads on Don, biggest attack yet. So you did step it up in recent days in terms of directly taking on the current leader for the race for the nomination, Donald Trump, former President Trump.
Well, Joe, on this weekend in Iowa, he said with his famous promise that he made in 2016, he was going to build the wall and have Mexico pay for it. We all remember that. And he said, well, there was no legal mechanism for me to do that. I couldn't have Mexico pay for it. You can't just ask them for money for a wall. And so that was basically a central promise. So that, to me, was something that I was taken aback by. But the thing is, you actually could have Mexico pay for it. Yeah, they're not just going to cut you a check. You impose fees on remittances from people that are sending money back to Mexico and other countries. And he was advised that he could have done that, and he didn't do it. So I think ultimately the choice for Republicans is, do we want somebody who's going to produce the leadership and results that will turn this country around? You ask, is Florida's success replicable nationally? Of course it is. What they have in D.C. is theatrics, it's performative, but it doesn't actually produce results for people. In Florida, I'm a leader. I'm not an entertainer. I'm not running a soap opera down here. I make promises to people, and then I use the authority that I have, and I work with the legislature to deliver the promises. And so the results speak for themselves. While they have added massive amounts to the debt, I've paid down 25% of our state's total debt just since I've been governor over the last 4.5 years. We've cut taxes. We've run surpluses. We're ranked #1 by your network for economy of all 50 states, #1 in education by U.S. News and World Report. We've taken on big issues like school choice. We've gone after ESG. We've even reformed higher education. So it's really about leadership, but the leadership has to be focused on producing results. Politics and governance is not a show, and what we've seen in Washington over the last week, to me, is a show. I don't see the results that they're delivering, even though they all ran saying they were going to do these great things in 2022.
Governor, we've heard that governors make better presidents. We've always heard that because they've been a CEO of a state. But given the events of the past week, you can see that a president in an environment like that, with a divided Congress and with so much tribalism and so much partisanship, it's hard for anyone to get in. I just don't see how you could repeat sort of, I'm not saying you're an autocrat in Florida, but I don't see how you could have the same ability to get things that you want done on a national level. Just, I don't, you can make the case that you could do it, but I don't see how you can.
Well, here's how you can do it. Well, a couple things. One, the current president's missing in action. I mean, Joe Biden's not exercising leadership. He's not working hard. He obviously lacks energy, and then not. I'll be a much different president. We'll be energetic. We'll be out there. But I also understand the authorities of the office. I know how to use leverage. And then I also know how do you actually get this stuff in for a landing. So, for example, all the things we're talking about now, we're thinking of an eye to. It's January 20th, 2025. How do you get it done? Budget reconciliation in the Senate. Biden used that to do his agenda. We're going to use that for our agenda. So we're not just out there flailing around. We have a plan to get it done. And what I'd say this in Florida, when I got elected, Florida was viewed as the most significant, closely divided state. Most of the races were one-point races, governor races, presidential races. I came in with a narrow margin, and we ended up turning that into a 20-point victory. We brought people together. Yeah, the far left, we fought and we beat the far left. But I think that's what we need to do nationally. But I do think that there's a strong majority of this country that wants a restoration of sanity. They want to see government focus on their needs and not the needs of the people in D.C. And that's what I'll represent. And it'll be a bottom-up movement. I mean, you remember President Reagan, he had a Democratic House. his entire 8 years, and he was able to do a lot of great things. It wasn't necessarily because they were backslapping. I know people talk about that. It was because Reagan appealed to the constituents of these members, right. And these constituents said, guys, it's time to get some stuff done. So 2024 is our time to get stuff done.
I guess, Governor, the other thing is what might work locally in Florida might not work nationally either. And I'm thinking about the fight with Disney and all the ramifications from that. Some people tie some of your difficulty in getting more traction in your campaign to what worked in Florida. And obviously, I think you had a lot of support with the action that you took in that regard in Florida. But that might not be something that works nationally. And you've heard it from both Republicans and Democrats. Why are you messing with corporate America? I mean, a corporation, usually a Republican or a conservative, would be loath to get involved with the workings of a private company. And, and then Democrats don't like it because they think you're anti-LGBTQ or so you've gotten it from both sides. As a result, you're trailing Trump by I don't know how many points, 30 or 40 points.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think that's the reason, but corporations used to not try to get involved in imposing agendas on society. The idea that a corporation would fight against a parents' rights bill, that a corporation would want to have kindergarten students taught that they can change genders or that their gender is a choice, it's outrageous that they got involved in that. I'm the parent of a 6'5" and a 3-year-old. I think I speak for a lot of parents, not just Republicans, independents, and Democrat parents. We want school to be focused on the basics. We don't want this stuff injected, particularly in the elementary schools. So it was an important fight to have. We won the fight decisively. But I would also point out, Disney had an obnoxious set of corporate welfare benefits. That is not good policy nationally. What we want is we want clear rules and we want people to be able to compete. But it is wrong to pick one favored company and give them extraordinary privileges. And that was a legacy of Florida for many decades, and it evolved in something I think that wasn't meant to be. But what we've done in Florida is we have a level playing field now. Universal SeaWorld lives under the same laws that Disney does. That was not the case for many decades. So we were right on the substance with parents' rights. We were right to fight back against them trying to inject sexuality in the elementary schools. But we're also right on the economics of having the same rules apply to everyone. One company shouldn't be exempt from rules that apply to everybody else.